Anne, great to see you.
Great to see you.
I'm going to put the battery in, and perhaps you could count us down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I will indeed. 5, 4, 3, 2, lift off.
Do you have a favourite poet?
Oh yes, I think Thomas Gray. I think Gray's elegy in a country churchyard is something every politician should read. That, of course, is the one which has got the famous line, "The paths of glory lead but to the grave."
Do you have a favourite author?
Yes, if it's fiction, then I like Susan Hill. If it's non-fiction, Antonia Fraser.
Do you have a favourite composer?
Well, I'm tone deaf. Can't hear music at all. But if I was to pick a favourite piece of music, it would be undeniably Haydn's Surprise Symphony. Because I think it encapsulates life. Because in life, you go along and you've established a rhythm and everything's going very well and it's all okay. And suddenly a huge discordant note comes in and bang, life changes. And that's what the Surprise Symphony sums up. And anyway, I can actually hear the surprise, so it's a bit of music I can hear.
Did being tone deaf make it pretty difficult being on Strictly Come Dancing?
Well, it made it impossible. I mean, Anton was nearly tearing his hair out. And in the end, he solved it. He would start off by saying, well, you do this on the third beat. And I would say, don't be stupid, I can't hear beats. What do you mean? What is this beat thing? So in the end, he had to pick out words from the songs, because all the dance numbers, fortunately, were vocals. And he would pick out words from the song and say, on this word you do this, on that word you do that. That was how I learnt.
Are you still dancing?
I never was dancing. I was doing a pantomime act. But I am going to do panto in December, and I will be doing a dance number in the middle of the pantomime because, as I've said to everybody, I spent 10 weeks doing a pantomime in the middle of a dance, so I might as well spend a few weeks doing a dance in the middle of a pantomime.
What's it like no longer being a politician after all those years?
It's a wonderful release. It's the release from responsibility. I'm very glad I did it. I wouldn't have spent my life any other way. I'm delighted I did it, but I am glad I'm no longer in the House of Commons.
So you felt a big sense of responsibility as a politician?
Well, inevitably, because everything you do, from the way you handle a piece of casework, well or badly, to the way you vote in the House of Commons, which determines law, to the policies you embrace as a minister, to those you espouse in opposition, they all have the power to affect people for good or ill. Strictly Come Dancing, what could I adversely affect? Anton shins and toes, that was all.
Did the idea of power, when you were in government and also when you weren't, did that excite you?
Everybody should be excited by power because it's only another way of saying being in a position to do what you want to do. Florence Nightingale couldn't sit at home and say, I think we should have a nursing profession. We'd still be waiting there. She actually went out and did it. Mother Teresa didn't sit at home and say, oh, the poverty in Calcutta is disgusting. She went out and sorted it. And unless you're in a position to be able to sort things, no good. You've just got to sit at home and bemoan them. So, of course, everybody wants power. Unless you're in number 10, unless you're actually in government, you can't do things. You can have the best policy since sliced bread. Can't do anything. You need power, and that is what power's about.
Do you think you would have been a good Prime Minister?
Oh, I think I would have been a first-class Prime Minister, but I don't think you'll find many of my colleagues would agree with me.
How would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as a person who tries to do the right thing. And who tries to be a good and loyal friend. And as a person who seizes the day, because you only get one go this side of eternity, this is not a dress rehearsal, this is it. And therefore you make the most of the opportunities as they come along. And the great thing about being retired is you're not developing a career anymore, you're not taking a long-term view, you're just saying yes or no to opportunities as they arise. Like Strictly Come Dancing, like City and Sweep, which I've just recorded, like the serious documentaries, which I occasionally make.
What sort of role does religion play in your life?
Religion plays the major role in my life, and nobody of faith would tell you anything else, because if you do believe, then it is going to affect, or should affect, everything you do.
So, do you think that you're going to have an afterlife?
I know that I am going to have an afterlife, but I also know that I'm only going to have one go in this one. And as I say, that determines my attitude.
And you changed from the Church of England to Roman Catholicism.
I did. I did that because I was getting rather disillusioned by the way the Church of England blew about with every fad and fashion and every change in the wind. And I rather admired the way that Rome said no. Something stands and falls by truth, not by popularity.
Have your political views changed over the years?
No, I mean, you tweak this and you twiddle that inevitably, but no major central political view of mine has ever changed. I'm still a conservative. I still hold those values. They haven't gone.
And that, Ann Widdecombe, is 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Very good to see you.
Good to see you.